Is there a lack of respect for producers?
Oh, it's definitely a lack of respect for producers. That's and I feel for young dudes coming in after me, because at the rate we're going, in 20 years, we won't be getting paid for music.
Yeah.
You know what
I saw you're very critical of these kids going for the quick score, selling their beats online for like $50 and all that type of stuff.
I mean, you come out on stage ass naked, where we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do layers. Like, a real dude is going to come out, come out the hat first, then come out the jacket, and come out the shirt. But the way we doing, music now is just all about trying to make it convenient for the consumer, rather than protecting the artists and the people that's doing the music. And it's like people just more so focus on how can we get this music faster and easier, but fuck you getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at some point a memo went out where they say don't pay the producer anymore, pay the video guy. So guys will call you and be like, listen man, like, I need your record for a mixtape. It's just a mixtape though, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we shooting video Friday. It's like, wait a minute, it's just a mixtape. We're shooting a video Friday. This shit don't even sound right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is the climate of the game.
Remember shooting it?
Right, you know what I'm saying? But that's the climate of the game now. Yeah. It's like, I don't understand where we went wrong as far as respecting the producer.
Because you're literally 50% of the it's half the record.
There is no video without the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how do you put the buggy before the horse? You know what I'm saying?
A while back, I saw that you tweeted, you said you hated the streaming services like Pandora, Spotify. You still feel that way? Or?
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the whole concept to that is charge your fan and give it to the person that's not messing with you for free. Because that's when you think about it, that's the whole concept. Because if your fan is your fan, he's going to get it. Because I think at the end of the day, it's all about directing traffic. People go where the dope is. Wherever the good dope is at, that's where people going. I don't care where it is. Yeah. So you can be on Spotify, but if ain't nobody checking for you, we still not listening to you on Spotify either. You know what I'm saying? But if you keep giving these people music on these platforms for free, right? How do you eat if you don't get shows and that type of thing? It's like, to me, it's like when you come out, it's like I don't need that money. I'm just that thirsty. I want that kind of fan where I'm just gonna give my shit away. So I'm selling on iTunes on this side, but I'm on Spotify on this side. So it's like, okay, come to my show, you get my CD for $10. But if you come by the crib, I give it to you for free. Who coming to the show?
Right.
Who coming to the show?
Right.
I'm not coming to your show. I'm going to Spotify. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I think people are not really paying attention as far as that's concerned. That's why when Adele came out, she didn't do Spotify. It's a smart thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Because we're trying to sell records, you know what I'm saying?
Well, how have you navigated? Because it seems like you're still very, and also you look at the public as all this insatiable taste. They feel like they're supposed to always get something new constantly. Your catalog, you look at your discography, it's still very selective. So when you put something out, it still feels special. It doesn't feel like you're just flooding the market with music.
I mean, I'm a firm believer in quality over quantity. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm a firm believer in that. So I'm not really into the numbers. I'm into what it is, the quality of what I'm putting out, and how is it going to impact. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really just want to do records with people just because they got a check for me. Because if you can't rap, I don't want to rock with you anyway. You know what I mean? Because
so it tells me you got to be nice to impress Bink too, right? I mean, you work with some great ones. So.
I mean, they said the publishing deal is the panic button.
Wow,
that's that. You only
explain that, because the business side of it, because people hear publishing deals and why so much money in publishing. Right.
I mean, your manager and your lawyer is going to be very adamant about pushing you to do a publishing deal, only because it's a balloon payment for them. When you think about it,
balloon payment.
You know what I'm saying? So you getting the publishing deal for $600,000, $400,000, $1 million, whatever the fuck. They get their 3%. You know what I'm saying? Nice little payday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But meanwhile, you didn't really need to do that if you getting money other places. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely want to have control over your masters and your publishing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But you don't see it until you start getting like licensing things coming in.
So you kind of gamble on how long you're going to wait to look at selling your publishing.
I mean, I did my first publishing deal in '99 with Warner Chappell. Shout out to Angelique Miles. I did a deal with her, and I fulfilled my deal in 6 months though.
Wow. Because
I was getting that much work. But keep in mind, like, I had a 6-song publishing deal, which means 600% worth of publishing that you owe. Right now, if you sample, then a lot of times you're gonna walk away from an album only having like maybe 15%, 20%. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get to 600.
Wow.
See, that's what people don't understand.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? So I think I had to end up doing like maybe like 16 to 20 records.
Damn.
Here's another A+ song.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I ran through my publishing deal super quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I never did another one. And I did an admin deal recently with Cobalt. And it's like, you know, when you sit down and think about it, it's just so much.
Administration.
Yeah, administration. Yeah, but it's just so much fuckery with this game now. It's like these people are like just blatantly taking money from us now, and it's not even funny. It's like the average person have never heard of the black box before in publishing, and that's crazy that you never heard of the black box before, because the black box is very imperative that you know about, because it could take money from you like it did me.
Wow.
Like. And the black box is mainly when you have a publishing dispute. Like, publishing is supposed to add up to 100%. So if it adds up to 103, 105, shit is wrong. So now we have a dispute. So now nobody gets paid until the dispute is resolved. Now, we thinking we can resolve that however long it take. You know, when we go back to that record, that money is there. We agree and we get my money, you get your money. No, you got 2 years to get that resolved. And if you don't get it resolved, the money goes in what you call a black box. And then once the money gets in the black box, nobody gets the money. The highest shareholder of the company gets the money.
Wow.
Oh my God. It's like some blurred line shit or something like that.
Absolutely. But this is all the stuff that's going on underneath the surface. And these kids just out here doing shows and not even paying attention to their publisher. You know what I'm saying? Like, the kids don't care about publishing anymore.
How did you learn about the business, and did you get jerked first? Like, how did you become so knowledgeable of the business side of it?
I mean, I always was just adamant about not just sending my manager, my lawyer in a meeting. I'm going. You understand? I want to know what the hell is going on. Like,
Nothing communicated back to you.
Absolutely. I don't want you to know all the contacts. I know nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go around, you make all the contacts, and then when you leave me, I'm back to square one. I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I always made it a point to pay attention to.
I will attend that meeting also.
Absolutely. and understand why we are arguing. Why are we arguing? Why am I not signing this contract right now? You know what I'm saying? Because of what? Oh, okay. Okay. No, we can't have that. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of shit. So, but these kids now, no interest in the business side of it. They just want to go out there and get the chicks and hit the stage. That's it. It's like, bro, 20 years from now, when you shit slow down, you going to think back to these days, and it's going to hurt. Like, it's going to hurt to a point where you may just break down and cry wherever you standing at. Like, fuck, like, I did not prepare for this. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought it would always be like it was. Kids come in the game and think that money will always keep coming that fast. Everybody slows down.
But you've helped others, like other producers and stuff like that. I think you said Vinyls, for in particular, somebody like that. A lot of young producers you give advice to. Like, what kind of advice? How would you help them navigate better in the business on their end?
I mean, like I say, I always tell them, like, you know, just whatever game I got, if they call and tell me they're going through something, then I tell them, listen, make sure you look out for this. Like I said, I'm about to do a publishing deal. Tell them to exempt you from the black box. You know what I'm saying?
Certain key things to look out for.
Certain key shit to look out for. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do a publishing deal. What you doing a publishing deal for? You selling all these beats. You got money. You good. Relax.
So you're a believer. You only do a publishing deal when you kind of feel like you're a little bit established or on the decline almost. Not where you still have the high hand.
See, that's what happened to all those old groups we love. Elliot, like, they like, damn, my records ain't sold or played on the radio in 10 years. Like, fuck it. I'm going to do a publishing deal. The publishing deal for $200,000. Now this movie come get the record. Now, you know, they start moving the record around. Now this record start going nuts. Usher just sample it. Drake just now you popping, but
it's a whole reintroduction to the catalog.
But your publishing going now.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like people don't understand. You have to work your catalog.
Wow.
And if you don't work your catalog, it'll just fall to the wayside, and somebody else will come back and buy it from you later. You think it ain't worth nothing. And it actually is worth something. So that's why I say it's always good just to hold it. Last result, you know what I mean? Just never know.
Now, the problem with certain situations and the problem with the way this generation works, not just talking about him, I'm just saying the things people want to do with the music supersedes the boundaries that we were doing. You know, When we talk about mixtapes, we talk about a cassette tape. It went to CD because you got better quality on a CD. But mixtapes were made to get a buzz and to promote and break a record. People wasn't shooting videos to mixtapes.
Right. It was just a promotional tool.
Mixtapes was blended. Mixtapes was hosted. You had freestyles on a mixtape. They wasn't separated like song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4. People wasn't doing mixtape release parties. So everything that this generation is doing is superseding. You going to different boundaries with the music.
Right.
And you're violating and exploiting things to another level that you don't even know you're doing because you're not even
connected.
You're not connected and educated to what you're doing.
Right.
You know, so when you're taking somebody's music and you're shooting a video to it, you know, I couldn't take James Brown's whole record and shoot a video to it and do a video to it because we were scared. We was happy to try to get past it. We kept it real quiet.
Right. You tried to sneak it past.
We sneaked
James
it
Brown.
past, and
Right.
we took bits and fragments.
Right.
So we wouldn't take a whole song and shoot a video to it and just say, "Yo, I'm giving this out."
Is me.
Yeah, you know, because that's not what it was. It's rules to the shit. People think now because it's the internet. People think now because it's the internet, the rules has changed.
Right.
Because it's internet. No, it hasn't changed.
Right.
You're just thinking it changed. It's like robbing a bank, and people robbing a bank, and nobody's getting caught. And you rob the bank, and you get caught, and you say, "Well, everybody else was doing it." That don't make it right, you know.
I think too, people take license because they say, "Oh, wait a minute, this is an homage."
Hey, let's go from this. Let's say you produced a song, right?
Okay.
You got a song, you own the song. Let's say Cadillac commercial. They take your song and they use your song and they promoting the Cadillac. And you get mad and say, "Well, damn, that's fucked up. You took my music."
I wouldn't get mad. I would sue them.
No, and they hit you with the 52 fake out and say, "Well, Combat Jack, the commercial ain't make no money."
That's not my problem.
Cadillac
is making money. Cadillac is making money.
Exactly. People don't understand when you taking
and y'all
music,
spent money to make that.
when you taking music
When y'all spent money to make that, y'all could have spent some money on me.
and you using this music to benefit your brand. Your brand is making money.
Right, right.
You know, this is to sell you and your brand.
Give credibility, give
The
notoriety.
reason why with mixtapes now, smart people know how to make money off of disposable music because it's used and you think it's given out for free, but it's used to sell you something else that might be more expensive than the music.
So don't get faked out.
So now it's like you using music as an investment so you can get paid, you know. Now, am I a shareholder in that investment? You know, it's deep, you know, not just, you know, I'm not, you know, cause, you know, but people don't understand when you using music, it's only but certain mediums you can go with it.
Right.
And, you know, people don't know, for instance, you get paid for YouTube, you know?
Yep.
You know, people don't know, you know, you get paid for a bunch of different things.
There's so many
you
different
know?
streams of income with the music.
But since people lack that knowledge, lack that intelligence, I learned that we don't have relevant people that do research no more. I call them the cut and paste niggas.
Cut and paste niggas.
Something is put out there, I cut, I paste it.
Right.
If it's blasted loud enough, it will be perceived as the truth.
Right.
You know, because that's what everybody else is saying. You know, when I'm approached with this situation, you know, I just ask, you know, before we even debate, tell me what you know. Don't tell me what you heard.
Right.
Tell me what you actually know.
Right.
Don't say, "Well, I heard this," because now you're trying to debate with me with hearsay. You know, me, I like to to put something else involved. Like, you tell your story, because most people will approach me with conviction. Mm-hmm. You ready to convict me and you don't even know what you convicted me of.
Right.
And then when you find out what you learned was wrong, all you want to do is say sorry.
Cause
when I want to slap the shit out of you. I don't want the apology. Right. It's like calling somebody a rapist and everybody blast that out there. Rapist. And there's no fact. Then they finally clear this dude. That title rapist is on him so hard that the sorry can't get it off.
Right. Now, are you talking about the fact that, and like I said, you can't talk about it, but when you did sue, some people were mad at you.
They were mad, but they didn't understand. They didn't do research. They were mad because it was told that I was suing for a certain situation or a certain thing, but that wasn't it.
Right.
It wasn't it. So you're convicting me and you jumping on me and you don't know the story. It's something that's I don't have a publicist.
Right.
So I'm the type that, like, I did what I did for a certain reason. If you don't know the reason,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's three sides to a story. It's your side, it's the other person's side, it's the truth.
Right.
If you only know one side and you coming at me, because the way people was coming at me, and what was the worst part about it, it wasn't, his fan base I'm expecting it from.
Right.
Fuck you, you old bastard. I'm expecting that.
Oh,
you mad, you bitter.
Were you reading the comment section?
Yeah, I was.
Don't read comment section, my
Yeah, I learned not to.
Don't read comment section.
But you would hear it, and what got me mad was the older niggas that was dick riders. It was the niggas that you fucking know better.
Like who specifically?
No, not
like who specifically?
It was just, it's still dick riders.
Right.
It's a dick rider amongst me, that I gotta, have words with, but when people was just coming at me and you don't know, like, yo, Ness, you saw mixtape niggas? And it's just like, yo, did you do any research? Nah, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that. And it's just like,
let these young niggas breathe.
It hurt to know that I did so much good and to be convicted on something that people didn't know the whole story.
To stand up for yourself. Finally, when you standing up for yourself.
Look, I tell people like this.
Right.
Anything you might remotely know about Lord Finesse comes from me grinding. Mm-hmm. I ain't have gold and platinum records per se myself.
Right.
So all my little records, whatever you know about me, I seen them freestyle, I seen this. So my whole thing is built off of a grind. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna let nobody exploit my grind. No, that's not gonna happen.
That's it right there, exploit.
And people don't know this ain't the first time I've been going at it with the Hip to the Game was taken by AT&T for a commercial. People don't know about that.
AT&T knew about it.
Right. And I went after them.
I know you did.
People don't know I've been through it with Fat Boy Slim for the Check It Out Now. It's the Funk Soul Brother right about now. So,
I thought that was an amicable thing.
Yeah,
I thought you was down with that from day one.
Nah.
Or you bossed up on that shit.
Nah, but you gotta understand when you go through these things that people don't know, and with me, this money or this music that I made is for my family to eat. When I'm gone and I'm dead, my family could eat off of this. Right. So I'm not gonna let you just do whatever you want with what I hustle so hard for. Now, if you want to throw your music out there, it's the dumbest thing in the world when I hear people say, well, I just did 13 songs, it's for a mixtape, it's for free. Because let's say you do 5 of those, that's 65 songs. You die tomorrow, your family can't eat off of that. You're not going to be able to eat off of that.
Right.
That's going to be one for the team.
Right.
How do your family eat? And people don't understand.
Sell it's the computer.
It's the lack.
Yeah,
it's the lack. It's the lack of. I mean, everybody does what they do to make money, right. And this is what people don't understand. Let's take the blog sites for instance. Okay, you got a blog site. The money you make and the money you can accumulate is based off of your traffic.
Right.
Okay. So the more people that come to your site, the more money you could get from sponsors. Because this many people come to my site per day. Okay. This many people come to my site per day. I need this type of money. What are you using to make the people come to your site?
Using free shit to fuel your shit.
You using free shit. You using interviews. You using any wild, creepy story you could put up on your blog site just to generate that traffic. So you using somebody else's thing to make that traffic. So why? You can eat.
Of course.
So now if a person come and say, well, damn, you use my shit, let me get a cut of that because, you know, I help get you to eat.
Right.
Nah, it was a good look for you, son.
That shit
There's
was
no fucking Jordache commercial. Fuck you mean good look? You know, so when I look at this generation, all I always tell a generation, just be educated on what you're doing.
Right.
Just be educated. You know, because you see somebody do something, it's like they could really swim. You see them swimming and you say, I could do that. And you go out in the water with a life preserver. And somebody take that life preserver off, you start drowning because you really can't swim.
Right.
You know, that's nobody but your fault. You know, you have to do the knowledge, but it's crazy because the internet wasn't regulated.
Right.
The labels let this shit get out of control.
Well, they couldn't control it either.
And try to combat it later.
Right.
You know, but that's bullshit.
They had an
They
opportunity.
can control what they want to control.
Right.
You try to put some Beatles shit up on the internet and see what happens. You know, they just don't control our shit. That shit, let that bullshit
Once
go
again,
ahead.
disposable art.
You try to put some Bruce Springsteen up there and see what happens. Like,
Get it.
it only happens with who they want it to happen to.
Or who they don't give a fuck about who it happens.
Right.
Right.
And it's so crazy when I look at these artists because when I was just telling me and my brother Show was talking. Now, it's good to do a mixtape, you know, if it's done with sensibility, you know. But most of these niggas that do mixtape, this shit is like a nigga with a mean handle. And you know, the nigga dribbling up the court.
And one nigga.
And no, you could say and one. But, you know, it's some nice niggas and one. But you supposed to use the crossover to score.
Right.
So if you're going to use the mixtape, you use it to score.
To score.
You don't cross a nigga over, get in the lane and bring it back out. And then, okay, I got to do another mixtape and I'm going to cross this nigga over again. And then I'm going to get to the lane, no. Because all you getting is, ooh, ah. But you're not scoring.
You're not scoring.
And that's what I'm saying. If you're going to do this, do it to score.
Right.
Don't do it. You doing this shit for a couple of dollars, you know, impressing people that don't matter, spending your money on strange pieces of arm candy.
Right.
You know.
You may know Tom Dow as the classic engineer that worked on all the Atlantic records. He did Aretha Franklin. Anybody that was on Atlantic, he did it. Before he did that, the reason that he even went into engineering is because what he was doing got used to make the atom bomb.
Wow.
Yep.
So when he figured out, but you got to remember that the way that the way that everything was networked back then, his university was networked with 16 other universities, right? It was one of the earliest forms of any type of internet of what we thinking about.
Right.
And they working in a room in New York City, then they figuring out, they taking all our information, putting this together, and this is what they did with it. So he walks away.
Okay.
And I'm just go make music. You know, like that type of thing. It's making sure that people, especially people from the hood too, because we don't always have time to like read up on everything and know everything. And it's not all the time. A lot of times people will be like, well, people just need to read. And I'm like, well, I understand people have real lives.
And when you're focused on survival, it's tough to focus on enlightenment.
Right.
Most said it best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Too busy surviving to argue about Darwin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to survive. And not even if you just not surviving. People, average person my age that's 40 years old, they go to work, they wake up, they take their 2.5 kids to work, to school, then they go to work themselves, right? They come home, it's 3 o'clock, daddy probably getting home at 5, right?
Right.
Then it's like if you're half a parent, you're at least going to spend an hour or so going over the homework. The mother's in there cooking, you know, whatever little special little thing the kids need before tomorrow. Now you tucking them in. Now it's like 8 something. Now you like got this much personal time before you got to be to sleep, and you got to kind of get the regular news to go what's, you know what I mean? To know what's going on in the direct world. You need to know the weather, who got shot today, you know, what's going on with Obama. Like, you don't really have time to be doing all that.
Yep.
Right.
And so it's just the people that search that out. Here you go. If I could put up a post on my Instagram that makes you think about something, then, you know, that's really my purpose. Or if I'm can just tell you about servers and all these other things.
So this is the real reason why you're being so vocal about everything, because you're trying to get into that area, that niche area where people may not have the time to seek out some enlightenment. And
just the mere fact that they don't understand that like you're giving away a lot on social media.
A whole lot.
Yeah, you're giving away a lot, and these companies are using what it is that you're giving away for a gain or for a purpose. And then if you don't, we that have come through and have seen personal computing rise can look at it from from an objective standpoint without always being so subjective, right? Without being in it, I can step out and objectively look at it and see where it's going. It's like warning people before it gets to a certain point where it's too late. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to look back and do the history with, the 2020, if you're looking backwards.
I mean, like, I just finished Grant Morrison's book, Super Gods. And he just made the craziest point or reference in it. Jack Kirby's work when he was talking about the mother box.
Yes, yeah.
And Grant Morrison, and for those who don't know, Jack Kirby, one of the great comic book author and writer, and he has this concept of a mother box, which is a little box that every person in the world would have, and it's like linked to this great computer, and it's always telling you how your day is, what's going on, what you need, It takes care of you. It's your mother box. Right. And he's like, we're not realizing that we already have a mother box. Every person in the world has a smartphone now connected to a great computer that tells you exactly what you need, everything, how's your day doing. And when I read that and made that connection that he'd made already, it just like, it's kind of one of those moments where you're just like, oh, fuck.
What will bug you out, though?
Too late.
Yeah.
What'll bug you out, though, is that we look at, there's some very classic science fiction writing that should be a requirement for all students, right?
Absolutely.
So what bugs me out is to go back and read like some H.G. Wells stuff.
Isaac Asimov. You need to read this stuff.
Brave New World.
And to see how accurate these people were in describing where we are in 1919 and 1920 and just seeing where all of this can go, the mind that had to be able to absorb all of that and say, this is, if you start down this road, this is where you're going to go.
That's one of my questions for you later, but that's like one of, like, I always like to ask people this, is like, what was the one where it, like, it's kind of related to, when did you become a geek, but like, what's the one where it just made you realize that, okay, it's not right? And like, mine was reading Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451.
Made me feel like what wasn't right.
Like, I just knew that we were already living in that future that they were talking about. Like, when I read Fahrenheit 451 as a kid, I was like, oh man, we're kind of fucked. Because in the world it described, I saw it right now.
So like, what futurist book maybe read in the past? Like, did you? Okay, I see.
I've read most of them, but I don't know. I guess when I first saw the internet, like really come to life when I was at Howard, and back then they was calling it the information superhighway.
Yeah.
And one of the people we had a group back then called Culture Initiative that threw a hip hop conference at Howard. And one of my good homegirls, Lachelle, was at Howard it came through the engineering building first. And Lachelle was the first person to be like, yo, you could go book your tickets at, back then the internet wasn't pictures and all that, right? But like everything,
bulletin boards,
that you could do on there was crazy. And then the idea to me that like I'm talking to somebody way over here in Germany, I'm talking to somebody, like all the bulletin boards was like for people all over the place. Yeah, it was huge.
That was back CompuServe days. That's when I was on.
Yeah, it was like texting, but across the world,
right?
And I think that was the big moment where it kind of struck me like, wow, this is, and it's going through a phone. This is crazy.
So that's when you knew, we are basically in the future.
Well, just because you automatically think, okay, we've already connected the world through phone lines, so this means that hypothetically, whoever has a phone number, I can contact them. That's crazy.
And exchange information, not just
computer information.
Computer information.
Well, that brings a point. So that brings the point that I realized about you when I was looking at a lot of your talks. Like you were talking about like MIDI machines and all this other stuff, and I was that just made me understand. DJs tend to be on the precipice of new technology.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, with your engineer background combined with your musical background, you've been privy to see a lot of new technology and be involved with that. So
what's even more crazy is that the more what you put out into the universe, you get back.
Yes.
So me loving new stuff gets me to the point where now I get invited to go see new stuff, right? Whether or not it's like, okay, I get invited to NAMM and all the like back rooms at NAMM, or I get invited to speak at AES and all the like backroom stuff. Right. Then this past weekend, I got to judge at Georgia Tech the new instruments competition, which was just so many hundreds of entries from all across the world, which gets whittled down to like 30 semifinalists, and then we picked a finalist. But just to see the ideas of all these people across the world was just ridiculous.
So like new instruments, like
anything from a MIDI controller to an actual instrument itself to anything that has to do with producing audio is considered an instrument. So take for instance the guy who won, and it wasn't just because he made a traditional instrument. There was a lot of great stuff, but the guy who won actually made an adjustable microtonal guitar, and I'll try to explain that in like 2 sentences. Normal tuning, westernized tuning in music, right, is a 12-step program, right? And I use that as a joke, but it is very much. It is very much.
What you mean?
It is very much a 12-step program where you start at a C and you go up a semitone, and there's 12 of them, and then you'll repeat the C.
Right.
That's Western music, but because that has become the dominant music, it's like, okay, people don't think if you tune to that, then you have to tune to something different to be able to play Indian music, to be able to play Asian music, to play African music. There are notes that fall in between the two notes.
Right.
So if I was to try to play one style with a guitar, I would have to put that guitar down and pick up another guitar to play the other style. This is why you see guitarists in a big show. They have 6 guitars right there, right? Because they've been tuned to different ways, and they don't have time to tune it. So they pre-tune them, right? This guy made a system which is so simple. He has movable frets.
Oh.
So each one of the frets can move, and you can go like, if on a guitar you'll see the line that goes, across. He can move each one of those and get the tones in between those notes, or get any notes you want. So he can quickly play Western music, Indian music, African music, Asian music, all from this one guitar. No one's ever thought of that.
And he won.
It was huge. But there was some great like technical stuff there as well. It was just incredible, the ideas that these kids came up with.
So you talked about that kid that just won. So there's got to be like some new emerging technology that you're really into right now, maybe a new startup, even a new gadget.
There's a couple things. One, I was in LA and I saw the best 3D that I've ever seen in my life. And what I guess the way to describe it is right now, the best 3D right now is still projections, right? Like Beyonce does a show, she does the 3D projections, but there's a point where if she walks in front of what's projecting, it casts a shadow in the background.
Right.
These guys have figured out with a screen behind you, and with these new form of glasses, they don't have the regular blue and red glasses, right? They have, it looks like cool, like graded glasses, right? It looks, is the only way for me to describe it. And when you're watching the 3D, they had a person standing in the middle of what's being projected, and it looks like everything is right there with depth.
Like Minority Report 3D.
It's like better than that.
Wow.
Like better than that because
like
of the sizing, because of the it really felt like I was in a hologram. And this was from one screen, not even from all 3 angles. This was from one screen. So the size of it can be anywhere from a stadium to a jazz club, whatever. It's just the glasses are that dope. I think that's one of the best technologies I've seen. And then a guy that was at this thing I was talking about for Georgia Tech, he developed basically sensors that sense motion, light, and your sort of like your relation to another thing.
Okay,
and you can
spatial relationships.
You can use all of those factors to control everything. Which if you know about open source code, OSC is like better than MIDI. because it doesn't have any restrictions. You could just write programs to do whatever you want. So imagine like the lights being controlled off of how you move for a dancer, or imagine the music reacting to how, like, but not like, yo, if you move this way, press play. It's like you are actually controlling a synth by your arm moving this way and this way, and this controls the LFO, and this controls the pitch, and this control like all the movements of the person. I think that's that for the live show and for theater, the system that they created is going to be one of the greatest things to help out just the arts in general. Right. Not only just for performers, but just any way you could think about it. You could have the hat tipping and, you know, it makes a sound, or it makes lights go. It's just incredible application. It's so basic that the application could be anything. And it's like super small. It's like the size of a quarter. Wow. Yeah, so it could be placed on anything.
Wow.
Yeah. It's hard for me to explain without you seeing it, but it's like a complete system that they made that doesn't it's not housed in anything big. It's very, very small, but
like a sensor, like almost like something with a sticky back.
Absolutely.
You can put it anywhere, in any position.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So it's like basically like a controller.
A control for anything, though. Control lights, and it reacts off everything. So me dancing or me moving around or me playing certain notes or me doing whatever will trigger whatever else I want to program, right? And the optical sensors that it has on it not only react to light, but they react to the color of the light. So that then you can get into mood. Yeah, you can get into mood. So if the mood switches in the show to like blue lighting, that may make the synth do this, or that may make, you know, you can make one signal trigger anything.
Wow, so you got some serious, like I see how you're talking about the applications for theater and for live shows and whatnot are crazy.
Yeah, but then again, the person in me also goes, wow, that's a lot of power for police to have, for the powers to be to have, like, because it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's like what you see isn't always what you get. So when you get to, I'm the type of person that believes in a Manchurian candidate. I'm the, you know what I'm saying? Like when you get that close to where, oh, I saw so-and-so say that, but like, okay, we recorded his voice and we chopped it up, and that's not really him saying that. This is somebody else that we made to look like him. You know, it could be used for anything. It's crazy.
And I really look at all this stuff like a science. Reality TV, all these shows where everybody's like, yo, somebody hit somebody in the head, somebody threw something at somebody did this and that. Right now, it's the early stages. All this reality TV and all these shows, all it is the black urban version of soap operas. It's gonna change over. It's gonna be General Hospital, The Days of Our Lives, all these. That's what all these shows, when they're finished filtering out, and whoever's standing and who's not, and whoever has good quality and who doesn't, that's what it's gonna be. And then those artists, that's gonna, because everything's multimedia now. Like what's her name? You know, who's the artist on Atlantic? I'm sorry, I can't even think of my name.
K. Michelle.
K. Michelle. She's like a prototype early.
Gotcha.
But this is like, I saw this movie before. This is hip hop. Hip hop, before there was a Def Jam that knew what they were doing and cultivating artists were just throwing out records. They were like, you know, okay, we're going to Inspector Gadget, you know, whatever, you know, Rapping Duke, you know, Divine Sound, stick 'em, like it was like whatever, you know, and that's how it is now. So a lot of these music and songs and TV shows, once there's a system in place where people are actually developing artists and lining up the music and saying this is the machine, it's gonna have to be like how Def Jam was when they said we're gonna actually build stars. We're not just gonna put out songs randomly. We're gonna build stars with tours, but that has to happen multimedia now, because we're in a multimedia environment. Right. It's not just about audio anymore. You got to see visuals. You got to see, you know, whether it's video, whether it's shows, television. But that's where it's going.
Most definitely. No.
Weirdest thing in the world. Speaking of my son, I said this to my son the other day. I said, man, the weirdest thing in the world to me is how every young and old, but it's mostly the young guys, but young and old musician now is looking at like TV as their next wave. And it's TV in a bunch of different forms. It may be the rap game for Jermaine Dupri. It might be money, power, respect for Lord Jamar. I don't know why when he's so great in movies, but whatever, right? But everybody's making this transition like television is what it is, and it's just interesting because, my question is always going to be like, so what happens to the music? You know what I'm saying? Do we really really get the music? And if you look at the best of our bunch that's done it, they kind of, besides for Latifah, they've kind of made the statement that they both can't be done. Latifah, and even with Latifah did something different.
And
so she just
Cube for a short time.
Yeah. Latifah did something different when she started doing all the American classics and singing, just totally singing, not rapping. So that's a little different. But as far as like Will, LL, Ice-T, they might do a tour hit here or there, but they like, this is what it is, and they really good at it. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually kind of sort of the way it works. Like, you're not gonna really be able to like knock down both like that. Some people, but I don't know how rare you could be. Tupac probably was the last to be able to really do that. But again, you can't measure nobody by Pac. He's one of, it's that special thing I was talking about. So like, how do you do that? Like, it's him, and then it's everybody else. It's all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
again, the special guy.
Exactly. Like, what do you do with that? Like, you just leave it alone and say, yo, he's great and I'm not. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but Pac was probably the last that, and probably would have done it. Like, probably would have been as good musically as he is on the screen. But that's a rarity, but it's kind of interesting the way. And then reality TV has created this whole kind of bucket for them to play in. You know what I'm saying? You look at Papoose and Remy, and you look at a couple of other things, they playing in that bucket, but, the music does get tainted because they gonna try to make, like, there's no way to make your music match a reality television show. It just doesn't work. It's two totally different things, so it really can't work. And so it's going to be very difficult for them, you know what I'm saying, especially some of them now, because a lot of them that's showing up on these shows now are not even like, they not even suburban people. So like, shit, if Macklemore showed up on a fucking TV show, he probably could sell all that damn music.
Yeah.
But like, you can't be like Cameron and show up on a TV show. It's not gonna work like that. You know what I'm saying? Part of people gonna say you sold out. The other people, you know what I'm saying? And then once you become that, the interest, the television interest, you kind of lose being the music interest.
Well, what's the name? Did it okay for that short minute?
Who?
T.I. when he had the Family Hustle, he was still putting out albums. You know what I'm saying?
But he's become the TV
it's
guy.
It's two different people.
Like
though.
yeah, and they don't.
I don't
mean, the music is suffering.
Yeah, I don't.
We Rough Man is out of our lives. Huh?
Yeah.
He's probably the best to do it, but he's a much better actor than he is a rapper. I mean, my computer's full of all the Childish Gambino shit. Like, I fuck with him hard, but I'm a weirdo too on that side, so that's different. But again, he's so special, right? So you almost can't with him. Yeah, like, you knew he was special, but then after that Atlanta show, you're like, okay, I get it now. Because that shit is not Devornier, that's not Spike, that's not Tyler Perry. That's him. That's him and that girl is on some bullshit. That Insecure shit,
oh man,
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Please don't ruin it.
They really stirring up the pot because I don't know what you do after, because this stuff is good. No, it's really good, right? Yeah, you like, what?
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to see Insecure yet, but Atlanta, dude, first and foremost, the fact that he's this young and navigated his way to essentially being a showrunner and having money behind it and doing numbers, and every writer on the show is black.
Yo, the dude is dope.
It's
like, Atlanta was dope. I don't know which one is doper, that or Insecure. I probably because it's hard. But one is girls and one is guys, so that's cool.
We ain't got to put them against each other.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to put them against each other. I'm just trying to tell you, like, that is not
I'm gonna
that's not
watch
even Homegirl.
Insecure this
Homegirl dope
weekend.
that did How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, that's not even her. Like, this is something else, man.
Yeah.
And you like, and plus they both got that music shit with them, so that makes it like ill, because the music on her show be ill, and then he on some other. So you like,
Yeah, matter of fact, I saw something about that floating around today. Like, folks were comparing, like, not necessarily the shows, but just the soundtracks. Like, who had the better soundtracks between Atlanta and Insecure? They had like a Spotify list of both. You know what I'm saying?
They right. Like it went. I mean, and I'm talking about, these are both shows that I wasn't like. It ain't on me like when it's getting ready to come out. Oh, I'm ready to watch it. Whatever. That's not how it happened with me. It was stuff that I end up watching. And like, just like, okay. Right. Like I was as hooked as I would be for like one of them BBC shows that I like Luther or something. Like it was like that. And I was like, damn, they really did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't, like, to me, the other thing that I look at, like with Atlanta and Insecure, it don't make a fool of black people. Like, it's the real shit is hard. Like, the Insecure shit is real hard because she got.
I have not seen it.
No, I'm not gonna say. I'm just saying she got deep on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then he did too. Yeah. That episode when the boy got shot and he was talking about getting the shit out of the jacket.
Yeah.
I said, yo, that was.
It's real. It's nuance. I think that's what a lot of black television is missing, is nuance. And the show has nuance. Like, it's not over the top. It ain't hitting you in the head.
It's what I was saying to him earlier before you came in, and that was what I call a hero factor, right? I said a lot of people, because people always ask about music nowadays, and I said, man, one of the biggest problems is that these guys don't have any heroes. You know, great ball players always had heroes or whatever. I guarantee you talk to that girl Issa or you talk to Donald Glover, I bet you they got some dope heroes. And they may not even be people who you expect. They might pull out a damn Bob Newhart on your ass. You know what I'm saying? But they got heroes. And that's, I think that's what we need, right? You know, people start talking about what we need. We need those people that are going to respect the elders, that are going to respect the people that came before them, that are going to, and then say, I'm cracking that shit, you know, wide open. To me, that's, you know, I don't really like a whole bunch of them other comedians. I like Chappelle, and the reason I like Chappelle is because I always looked at him like he looked at it and says, look, I know you seen Pryor, I know you seen Murphy, I'm about to crack that shit open. I'm going somewhere else with this. Just ride with me for a half a second, you know. I'm going to do all that shit Paul Mooney wanted to do and couldn't do because there was an edge that he just didn't have. And again, it seemed like that music keep playing part, right? Because with Chappelle, it was his relationship to like Mos and all the rest of them dudes that kind of made it feel like that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Authenticity.
So I just think, you know, that's what we need. We need that kind of stuff. I mean, we're not gonna. I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. We're just not gonna be able to get there. I love when people try it, but sometimes it's wasted energy.
Yeah.
You know, to really really believe that you're starting with nothing, it's wasted energy, because it's way too much shit that's been done on the planet already for you to start talking about you starting with nothing.